how do you feel about, like, do you feel like some of the players, because, you know, they still don't get paid a lot of money when it comes to the equality, when it comes to male athletes and whatnot. But do you think there'll be pressure on them? Like if the WNBA says, hey, we want to start our season up in July, that some of the ladies may feel the need to go back because they need the money?
Of course. Which is like a lot. It's a business, right? It's a job. Just like a lot of other people are saying, you know, the nail salon, they're saying, I need to go to work. Do I feel comfortable going? No. But do I still have bills to pay? Yes. So when I look at the WNBA, I think, and hopefully it won't come to that and they won't, you know, put that in front of them. But if it comes down to it and they say, listen, things are good, things are okay, we're going to start the season up in June, July. I do think there will be a lot of the women that will say, you know, unfortunately, I got to take that chance because, you know, and a lot of the women in the WNBA they have kids. They're single moms, you know, and they're not making the type of money that the guys are making. And, you know, it's a tough position to be in. It's really hard. So I do think a lot of the women would say, I got to take that chance and I got to get back out here and go to work.
Hey, sure. I'm not trying to count your pockets. I don't know. What is the pay still different from when you came in to now? Has it been much of a change?
Well, here's what's different. First of all, I'll make this short. Okay. So the women just signed a new CBA, and I don't know if you're aware of that or not.
Yep.
And so in the new CBA, it was historical. It was groundbreaking. So there are things that they got in the CBA that when the league first started, we didn't have. But I always say somebody has to be the first, right? We had to be the guinea pigs and go through a lot of shit so they could get the things that they have today. That's what we do. But the difference is when the league first started back in 97, you had marketing contracts and you had playing contracts. Not every player. So I was one of those players. Rebecca Lobo was one of those players. Lisa Leslie was one of those players. So we had our playing contract where we got paid for playing in the summer, but we also had a marketing contract where we basically worked for the league in the off season. So we didn't have to go overseas to play if we didn't want to, but we still were able to make a living and get paid year round. And they don't have that option. They have the option, but they don't do that anymore. So a lot of the majority of the players either have a second job where when the season's over, they're staying here working, but the majority of them go overseas and play.
Wow. Yeah, like they signed the CBA and the average salary now in the WNBA, correct me if I'm wrong, Cheryl, is like they said $130,000, which is still low for professional athletes, but it's $130,000, but it's still much higher than when you first started. Significantly higher, because like you said, they needed to have a second job or to make ends meet. They had to go play overseas in the wintertime away from their family. And now this may help them a little bit more. But you've been big and very high on Title IX, equal pay. And I'm going to ask Nick first. Like, when it comes to this whole debate about women getting the same amount of pay as men, and it came up during the World Cup, during soccer and whatnot, a lot of people still don't feel like women deserve to have equal pay or even a ratio that is, you know, similar to what men make when it comes to that. What are your thoughts on equal pay for women when it's opposed to the men's sports?
I mean, I think equal pay should happen when it's apropos. When you talk about the NBA and the WNBA, I mean, the WNBA is a distant when it comes to the NBA because it's more watched, it's more appealing to a lot more fans, which draws more money, more ticket sales, more merch, etc. But when you look at the WNBA, there's not a lot of support. As Sheryl said earlier on, you don't have a lot of support, and the marketing is completely shitty. Like I've said that numerous times. Like when WNBA first started, when you had Sheryl Swoopes and Lisa Leslie and those ladies, you had incredible marketing because they pushed those ladies out. But now it's so completely shitty, it's ridiculous. And also on top of that, you have women that don't even watch the WNBA like that because they rather watch the NFL or NBA for the most part than watch a WNBA game because it's just not appealing. Not to say these young ladies don't play extremely hard night in and night out, but it's fundamentally sound basketball. People want excitement. And for many people that I've even talked to, it's like, look, man, this is not exciting to me. I want to see somebody dunk. I want to see alley-oops. I want to see, people on the break and all that other stuff that they see in the NBA. So yeah, I mean, if you're not drawing the revenue, how can you give somebody a $10 million contract when you're not drawing $10 million even in merch or in fans? That's ridiculous to me. So it has to be apropos to what you're bringing in. I applaud the CBA as far as the 50-50 deal, as far as the revenue splitting. I think that that these ladies deserve that. I'm glad they got a pay increase. But when you look at the overall scale, like, why should we giving LeBron money or KD money when you're not bringing that money back into the fold? It doesn't make any sense.
I totally disagree with you, brother.
Oh, here we go. All right,
go ahead, Donny.
Bring it.
Because I feel like we playing the same game. You know what I'm saying? So if you playing basketball, I'm playing basketball. You as an owner, you have to figure out how you're going to make your money to make it big. You know what I mean, for the women. You know what I mean? If I have a woman lawyer and a man lawyer, shouldn't they get paid the same amount? You know what I'm saying? You know,
in that regard, yeah.
No. Let me talk.
Go ahead.
What I'm saying is that I feel that a woman should get paid just as much as a man. You know what I mean? But at the end of the day, because we playing the same game, I don't think it's right. Scale down in arenas. Do what you gotta do. Promote more. Market more. But I don't think they should be getting paid no $100-some thousand when a man, the average salary, I think is more 3, 4, 5 times more. You know what I'm saying? For a man, I think that's just kind of like, we got to stop doing women like that. That's just my personal opinion. You know what I mean? Because if I had a wife and she was making that money, I'm a businessman. I've been entertained, but I'm like, man, no, you can't treat her like that because she's a woman. I just think differently.
I hear you on that, but at the same time, you got to understand that from a business standpoint, the revenue was not there for you to even be able to do that. It's like going into your account when you're trying to draw more money out of your account than what's in there. You're going to go into the negative. And that's exactly what's happened. You can't take something out that's not completely there. And that's from a financial standpoint, from a business standpoint, it just hasn't gotten there yet. Now, mind you, the WNBA is only about 22, 23, 24 years old, around that. So it's still a young league. It still has to grow. It still has to develop if it can continue to develop. But let's make no mistake about it. It's not completely funded on its own. It has a large amount of help from the NBA. So let's keep that in perspective as well.
All right, let's get Sheryl in because she's heard the men argue about equal pay for women. So we got to get the lady in. What are your thoughts on what you just heard?
I'm on both sides.
Okay.
First of all, I am always going to be an advocate for women, always. But I'm also going to try and be fair. Okay. I agree that the WNBA has to do a much better job of marketing the league and of marketing the players. When the league first started in 97, there was so much hype around, or after the 96 Olympics, right? There was so much hype, excitement. It's a perfect time to launch a new league. So the league did an incredible job of making sure people knew who players were, where the teams were going to be, when the season was, here's the schedule, our faces were everywhere. So people were excited about it. And they slowly got away from that. To me, the sad thing is I actually have people right now who they say they like the WNBA, but don't even know that the WNBA still exists or know where the teams are. And I stop and ask a question and say, well, whose fault is that, right? To me, it's not just the players, but you got to look at who's running this business. What are you doing to make sure that you're putting the brand out there and getting people excited about it? So I'll probably ruffle some feathers here. Probably not y'all, but other people.
That's okay.
But I also feel like if anybody can talk about it and have an opinion about it, I can. So I'm going to say it. We as female athletes, we also have to do a better job of understanding our market, understanding who's watching, understanding what we need to look like, how we need to carry ourselves, right? So that we can get people excited about watching the WNBA. And what I mean by that, I've talked to so many different people that have said this is what people think, the majority of the women in the WNBA are gay. This is what I'm telling you, what people think, right? So I've had people say, because of that, why don't we market to the gay and lesbian community? Well, you don't have to market to the gay and lesbian community because they're coming anyway. Do you know what I mean? But what about you guys? How do we get you guys excited about this product? And how do we get you guys to bring your daughters to the game and say, listen, you can do and be anything that you want to be, regardless. And right now, I'm not even talking about the salary, right? But when you have a Kobe Bryant, God rest his soul, who is taking his daughter Gigi to every WNBA game that he possibly can, and also to college games, saying, Gigi, look at these women. Look how strong these women are. Look how powerful these women are. And if this is something you want to do, you can do it. But the unfortunate thing, fair or unfair, the image that a lot of the players in the WNBA walk around and portray and carry doesn't make people excited about coming to watch. I've heard that from a lot of people.
What should they do though, Sheryl? It's like when it comes to that, because if they are gay or lesbian, then that's who they are. So how should they carry themselves?
I agree with you.
Yeah.
Here's what I'll say. And I'm speaking from experience, and I'm speaking from talking to a lot of people. You have a right to be who you are, right? Every single person does. You have a right to live your life the way you want to live it, to be with whoever you want to be with. That's everybody's choice. But to me, when you're looking at the bigger picture and you're talking about, well, why aren't we getting support? Why aren't we getting fans? And you hear people saying, I don't want to bring my daughter to the game because a lot of these women, they just look too rough. They look too hard. I don't want my daughter seeing that. Do I think that's right or fair? No, I don't. But if you're talking about the bigger picture and you're a part of a team, then you as an individual have to do your part to try and get more people to come and get more people engaged in the game. The other side, I want to say, and Nick, I want to say this to you. I know you said you have a son, right?
Sure.
But if you had a daughter, are you going to have that same conversation with your daughter that you just said? Well, no, these women don't deserve that. Are you going to tell your daughter you don't deserve to get paid this amount of money?
I would tell her, and to be honest with you, I would explain to her the context as far as the breakdown. And I would also tell her the fact that you can make beyond what is on the court, which we've seen other athletes such as yourself, such as many others beyond the court, make their money on top of what they're getting paid for. Now, should it increase over the course of time? Absolutely. And maybe if I decide to have another child and it's a girl, and she gets old enough, years down the road, and hopefully the WNBA is still around, I would encourage her to do that. But at the same time, we got to be, like you said earlier, we got to be honest with ourselves and understand what our market value is, and then how do we take that current market value and elevate it to a higher plateau. That's what I'm saying, ultimately. I'm not saying that they don't deserve to be paid. I'm saying as far as understanding the market value. To have a conversation to say that you deserve to be paid as much as NBA players are making, to me, is not realistic.
But I don't think that's what they're saying. I don't think that's players, and I know I didn't.
So and that needs to be interpreted, because a lot of times people say equal pay and they feel like that's equal pay, but they want to be paid what they feel like they deserve. Let me break it down for you. I have 2 daughters, and I tell them they can do anything they want to, and I definitely want them to have equal pay and get paid fairly for their work. But I also see, when it comes to the NBA, any sports league, sports in particular, how do the players get the majority of their money? How does the league make the majority of their money? TV contracts. Am I right? TV contracts. TV contracts. The NBA, NFL, Major League Baseball, NHL, they all have huge, not even NHL, but the 3 main sports have huge television contracts. That's why their salaries are so high. So when the WNBA, and I definitely would like for them to be paid, and I'm glad that they got more money, but when the ratings are up and the demand is there and the TV contracts, when the ESPN, ABC, CBS, Fox is negotiating and fighting over the rights to have the WNBA, that's when they get more money. That's just like Nick said, in a sense. And I don't get me wrong, I do believe they deserve more money, but if the money's not there to be given to them, then that's going to be a problem.